Alright, hello there, and welcome to another Starfield video. So today we're going to be taking a look at 6 heavy weapons in the game, much like how we've done the past couple of episodes of all the other weapons in the game. So, quick kind of note with this one, I believe there is only really 6 heavy weapons, so title's a bit kind of, clickbaity. I do apologize. I was trying to just keep it in structure with the other ones. The one caveat is, like, technically the cutters are weapons. And while they are quite, they're an interesting weapon and stuff, you definitely would be, I would recommend using them for, like, exploring and stuff. They can be kind of tricky to make them, like, useful as an actual weapon. You kind of have to, like, invest a lot of perks in it, and I don't even know if you can get legendary cutters. You probably can't. Anyway, so we're going to start off here. We've got 6 different varying heavy weapons. Some of which I'm actually excited to kind of check out, because I haven't really fiddled with a lot of them. Generally speaking, when it comes to heavy weapons, I'm usually a kind of a minigun guy. So, which we will be covering. Once I kind of got that, I was like, yeah. So anyway, so the first weapon I'm going to take a look at is the Advanced Bridger. Now, like always, the name, much like in my ship reviews, the name after the initial name, the word advanced, is the tiering. There's 4 weapon tiers, with advanced being kind of the highest tier. So if you're trying to kind of get the best available weapon, you want to look for advanced. They tend to show up anywhere between level 26 to like level 50, depending on the perks, or depending on the weapon. So anyway, so this is the Advanced Bridger. It's got 322 physical damage. It fires 40mm XPL, which I'm assuming means explosive. 4 rounds in the mag. It's got 5 fire rate, 52 range, 65.8 accuracy, and 5.50 mass. And this is made by Laredo Arm. This is basically a lever action grenade launcher, which I'm not sure is a thing. I mean, I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be a thing, because it'd just be a big shotgun. I know with grenade launchers, especially like the I'm trying to think now, because I know the what do they call it? The military call them the 40 mic bike, which is usually like it's like the 40mm grenade launcher. There's like in certain games and in real life, you have like the standard. It's like a cylindrical one, and I'm pretty sure with them ones, they don't actually like have a propellant. I think they kind of fly out at a certain velocity. But anyway, yeah. If I say anything wrong about like grenade launchers and stuff, yeah, correct me on that. But anyway, it's a cool concept though. It's made by Laredo, so it's primarily danger explosive. Like that. It's so it's a Freestar Collective weapon. Really like the aesthetic of it. It's really really cool. It kind of reminds me a little bit like the China Lake, which is I want to say that's the actual name of it. I'm pretty sure it is, but most of my kind of gun knowledge and stuff from a lot of the Vietnam stuff comes from games and movies. But yeah, all in all, really cool weapon. I could imagine this thing being. Oh, can I see? Oh, well, that's a bit of a letdown. Wait, that barrel is blocked. Anyway, let's not focus on that. Yeah, so this was kind of. I can just imagine this bad boy being used in the colonial, the colony wars. Basically, like pumping rounds into like some sort of xeno warfare specimen, or even some mechs. So let's go take a look at some of the attachments we can get for it. The first time I did see it, I was 100% sure it was just a large shotgun. And then when I shot a guy with it, I was like, ah, yes. So for the barrel, we've got a long barrel or a standard barrel. The long barrel makes the barrel exceptionally large. And again, I'm not sure if these grenade launchers act like a normal bullet necessarily, because I know that a lot of grenade launchers, like in modern military, they only arm after a certain number of rotations, so that you don't accidentally dunk it out the barrel and like 5 feet in the distance it blows up and kills you. Yeah, so we're gonna oh that's kind of interesting. So it actually increases ammo capacity, accuracy, recoil, and range. So that's definite, which is kind of ironic that they went with that route for this, but you can't on some of the other barreled shotguns. Weird one, Bethesda, but okay. So it increases your mag by 2 to 6. Range goes up by an extra 10. Accuracy goes up by an extra 4%, and it gets a little bit heavier. So then for the laser sight, we've got laser sight or no. Again, I really like how it's kind of attaches there. This is one of the things I will say. Like, a lot of the weapons Bethesda makes in games, like they can kind of be hit or miss. Like as much as I'm a huge fan of Fallout, a lot of the guns they had in Fallout 4, I wasn't a big fan of how they looked. But they do kind of like, for some of the guns, not all of them, like, but they clearly, the guys who designed at least the Laredo weapons, they did a phenomenal job. Like, so I'm assuming, see those little kind of those little, almost like they're like screw holes. They can kind of act as attachment points, and obviously with the laser sight, it's really cool. So laser sight, as always, it increases your target acquisition and accuracy, and it helps with yeah, so it increases the accuracy by 3% or 2%. For the optic, we've got iron sight, reflex, or short scope. Now, being this is a grenade launcher, I don't see the point of using a scope necessarily. But obviously, if you want reflex sight, better target acquisition and visibility, and short scope is 2 times magnification. So we've got a tactical stock and a standard stock. That tactical stock reminds me of like a gun from a specific game, but I'm not sure what game. Also, that looks obnoxiously awkward to hold. So the standard stock seems fine. You can tell by looking at, like, it's not. As someone who, in their youth, used to make a lot of weapons out of wood when I was a youngin. Yeah, you want to make sure your grips aren't completely circular, because hands aren't circular. Yeah, but that looks, yeah, I wouldn't. Obviously, stat wise, we kind of want to go with it, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. That looks awkward to hold. So that obviously lighter stock for quicker ADS and stability. So magazine, we've got standard explosive rounds, we've got Tesla pylons, and we've got Hornet's Nest rounds. So with Hornet's Nest rounds, the rounds explode in a downward cluster of mini explosions. We've seen that in the shotgun video, really, really powerful. Tesla pylons, again, another one. The thing I will say with the Tesla pylons is, so for anyone actually that didn't watch that video, it just basically kind of acts like you shoot little kind of electric traps on the ground and they arc out. And while it is a cool kind of concept, I feel like instead of it being tied to an ammo type on certain weapons, they should have just given us a couple of guns that were kind of trap style guns, you know? Anyway, we're going to stick with the standard explosive rounds because the Hornet Nests are really cool, but they're very kind of limiting in their range. Then for the internal, we have a hair trigger or no mod. Obviously, we will go for a hair trigger, but it only increases the fire rate by like 1. I want to say like some 1 extra round per minute, which I suppose fair enough, yeah. And then yeah, so let's go take this bad boy out and see how it performs. All right, so we're nearly at the location. This is my usual hunting ground. So as always, I am playing on very hard difficulty. And this is New Game +1, I believe. So you may, enemies are kind of tough, but they're not extremely tough. Now, I don't have any perks in the explosive or the heavy weapons skill tree, so we're going to see it kind of how it is. Okay. Oh, I love that it's side mounted. Okay, so the explosive radius on this bad boy is very nice. Oh, wait, hold on out. Let me try that again. Okay, yeah, explosive radius isn't too bad. Now, one of the things I kind of would have hoped to have seen, considering this is sci-fi and in space, and it would be definitely something that more bullets would have to make use of in space, is I would have liked to have airburst rounds or proximity detonation rounds. So basically, if I was not familiar, proximity detonation rounds, they're usually, I want to say they're usually used by, with aircraft and stuff, and sometimes Navy. Basically, instead of like firing the round straight at a target and having to hit the target, if it detects that it comes within, let's say, like 5 feet of a target, it will detonate prematurely. It's kind of, I'm pretty sure airburst first came from World War II. It was a kind of an easy way to, you didn't have to hit the aircraft, you just hit close enough. Aside from that, this is actually a very satisfying weapon to use. I haven't fiddled too much with explosive rounds. Like I said, not a huge fan of them in kind of older Fallout games. I used to blow myself up a lot. But yeah, this is really cool. Also, I like you've got the little ammo modifier there, you can see. So it counts down. Weirdly, I like the reload. Does he actually? Does he do the click? Oh, he does. That's so cool. So weirdly, the Bethesda weren't really like fully aware when it came to the LCD screen, because as you can tell, there's 4 normal ones, and then you've got 2 half ones, which to indicate you've got extended mag. But then, like, I suppose that's probably a thing I could see like a gun developer doing. Like, you know, they're like after the fact, they're like, yeah, let's kind of make it let's basically add stuff after the fact. And like we might have to change things. So something you'll know as I fire this, which is kind of cool, is it doesn't seem to have. So let me test here real quick. So this thing tends to fire pretty straight. Let me aim for that mountain distance. Okay, so this thing has absolutely no bullet drop, which means that I don't think this is technically a grenade launcher, because even in space or sci-fi, grenade launcher rounds are usually meant to. They don't have a propellant built into them. Although someone may be able to correct me, I may be wrong on that. This feels more like a kind of a micro missile launcher. But yeah, like I said, as much as we all love Bethesda, they're not really gun kind of nuts. I think we're gonna check our next heavy weapon now. Alright, so next on the list we have the Magstorm, or in my case the Advanced Magstorm. So Magstorm weapons are made by Core Kinetic. I always want to say Core Dynamics, but that's ship manufacturer, really dangerous. So the gist behind these Magstorm weapons, there's quite a few of them, and spoiler alert, they're generally the best in their field when it comes to weapon types. So let's see if this will be an exception. So it's basically like if you imagine like a railgun, but instead of it being kind of firing like a single kind of more precise round, it kind of fires like them in, as you can see, like in cartridges. It's a really cool concept. I don't know if there's a lot of science behind it. I've actually started to kind of read up a little bit more on like railguns and Gauss guns. And I will say that just looking at the system, it might be it might be more of a railgun just because Gauss guns, or coil guns rather, they're a lot harder to do. But yeah, anyway, so if you look at stats, it's got a physical damage of 22. Fires 0.50, what was it? Magnetically induction or magnetic induction rounds. 160 rounds in the mag, 400 fire rate, 52 range, 54.9 actually, 12 mass. So this bad boy is going to shred some targets. So if we check out some of the some of the upgrades. So we've got standard magazine, depleted uranium rounds, and armor piercing. Now, weirdly, these both require magazine battery too. So the armor piercing, more powerful casing that can penetrate sturdiest armor, and built-in depleted uranium, these rounds can penetrate any armor. So we obviously don't have the ability to kind of test when it comes to armor penetration, because that's like a kind of a stat that's in itself. Bethesda don't really show that. Usually it's like kind of like it would be like a percentage system, like I know in Fallout 76, anti-armor was like a stat, basically like a legendary prefix. We have it in this game too. I think it's called Shattering in this game, and it basically like reduces armor by like 75%. So just going by the fact that depleted uranium rounds give us an extra 13 range, we're going to definitely be going with them. And then for the internal, we have hair trigger or high velocity. So hair trigger basically bumps up the fire rate by 80, whereas high velocity makes more accuracy. We're obviously going with hair trigger because this is basically a Gatling gun or a minigun. So yeah, that's all there is for this. Kind of interesting that they didn't kind of go with more, considering some of the other Magstorm have like cool little kind of, or the other mag weapons have like cool little like kind of barrel attachments that electrify the rounds. Anyway, let's go check it out. So as we approach our folly, one of the cool things about these Magstorm weapons is they have like a kind of a holographic system that basically lets you see where you're shooting your targets. And if these were green and you pointed at somebody, they'd probably think they're about to get completely devastated by multiple predators from the Alien, or no, not the Alien vs. Predator. Well, technically it's the same franchise. Anyway. So this gun, to my knowledge, it's quite good with hip fire. Is it more of a micro? Oh, I remember this now. Yes, she very nice. So Again, when I do these kind of reviews, I don't really focus on like legendary effects, but if you were to get one that came with an extended mag, you could definitely bump it up. You definitely bump that bad boy up to, I want to say extended is like double. So 320 rounds. Also, you'll notice there with the depleted uranium rounds, like a green hue, which I really like. And I feel like our main mod in the Discord binary would also love this because he's a big fan of green, as you can see by his role in the Discord, which wasn't intentional to plug the Discord. But if you guys want to join the Discord, pretty chill place. We talk about things, all things Starfield, and we've got a lot of different sections for like screenshots and stuff like that, spinning ships too. But yeah, all in all, like this gun kind of talks for itself. Like it's a no nonsense weapon. You know, you don't do any fancy tricks to just aim center mass and watch them disintegrate. I would like to see how this gun would like work in the Fallout 4 style, like kind of. Oh damn it! That's kind of trash. Sorry, I got excited there. In the like the Fallout 4 style engine, where like you have like dismemberment. Just imagine shooting this at someone and they just turn into a red paste. Anyway, on to our next weapon. Alright, so now we have the Negotiator, which is a funny name because it's... I mean, you could kind of do some negotiating. While the Bridger was the Freestar Collective's kind of interpretation of a grenade launcher, this is made by Allied Armaments, which primarily UC, or United Colony. This bad boy has 11 rounds in the mag, and this is pretty much a sci-fi version of your kind of standard. I'm not really sure what it's called. It's basically like every single kind of COD game and movie has it. It's just your kind of standard like grenade launcher. Really, really cool. So if we take a look at the stats of this bad boy, it does 354 physical damage. It shoots 40mm explosive grenade launchers, 11 in a mag, 12 fire rate, 52 range, 64.8 damage, and 10 power. Also, the grenade launcher I was talking about is called a Milcore MGL, or a multiple grenade launcher. And this is, I want to say this is like a sci-fi version. So yeah, something that's kind of interesting me a little bit is that like attachment on the top. I'm not really sure what it is for. Also, there's some warnings there, which I can't... Oh, I can zoom in on. Warning. Level 7 warning. Level rocket launcher. Okay. Also, that's kind of hilarious. There's a spelling error. It's supposed to say state of the art, but it says state of the art. I don't know why there's a nuclear symbol. Maybe we can get nuclear rounds. It's also going to be interesting seeing like I love when they put caution on every single like barrel segment or magazine segment, revolving cylinder segment. It's like, yeah, just so you know, every round's an explosive. Like, thanks, Chief. But the other thing I was going to say is it'll be interesting to see if it handles more like a grenade launcher or if it's like the Bridger where it just, yeah. Also, not really sure what this thing on the top is for. It's really strange. Oh, that's a loading. Anyway, let's go check a look at it. So, barrel, we've got a standard barrel. Stabilizing barrel, specialized mag assisted barrel, increase accuracy and recoil at the cost of ADS speed while standing still. And then we've got the long barrel, which increases accuracy, recoil, and range. The fact that it's giving us a barrel, because generally speaking, grenade launchers in real life don't have much of a barrel to them. I'm assuming it's more like a rocket. So we're gonna go with... Ooh, that one looks cooler. But if we look at the kind of the... Vastly increases accuracy and recoil. But on paper it doesn't, which is an interesting one. We're going to go with this one just because long barrel. Increase accuracy, recoil, the range of ADS speed. We don't need to worry about ADS speed. So laser, we have the option for a laser sight. Recon laser, which... Again, I'm not really sure why, because the laser sight adds an actual laser attachment, which is really cool. But the recon one doesn't, which... strikes me. I mean, I wouldn't recommend using the recon laser, so for reference, laser sight increases target acquisition and accuracy. As you can see, it jumps up. Recon laser does a better job of that, but it also marks enemies, and I would not recommend it because it'll mark enemies behind cover, and then you can't realize you're shooting at them through cover, and it doesn't work. It's going to sound laser sight. So optic, we have an iron sight, we have a reflex sight. Oh, okay. So I believe that section inside is basically meant to be like a scope mount, like a built-in scope mount. But it's kind of weird in that it only starts to kind of make use when you use the actual scopes. Like, I kind of wish there was an option where you could take it off. We're going to go with the reflex sight for this, just for target acquisition. Short scope basically increased to 2 times. So for the grips, we have the standard grip, the tactical stock, and the stabilizing stock. So the tactical stock is a lighter stock for ADS. Stabilizing is special mag assisted stock. Vastly increased action recoil at the cost of ADS. So again, they look to be the exact same. I'm going to go with this one. Kind of fits more into the idea of Also, I just realized something that is actually really, really cool. So the mechanism for firing this looks like a pistol, which is quite interesting. I'm not really sure kind of the ins and outs of it, but I mean feasibly you could probably, instead of designing a very intricate kind of firing mechanism, you could potentially just add in, it looks very much like Combat Tech's Urban Eagle, which is really cool. And then for explosive rounds, we've got standard explosive rounds, or we've got Hornets rounds. We're going to go with standard, just because, yeah. I kind of wish there was, like, tactical nukes, which probably would break whatever version of the Geneva Convention exists today, but, you know. And then for Eternal, we have a hair trigger, or, nope, we're going to go with the hair trigger, because it increases the fire rate. And yeah, let's go check it out. Alright, so just a little test fire before I unpaused, which we'll see anyway, but this pretty much fires exactly like the Bridger, which is a weird one because I would kind of put them, like I said, they would not necessarily be grenade launchers, they're more like kind of micro missile launchers almost. And considering grenade launchers are a thing, like Fallout Canon has done grenade launchers, you know, I don't know if Bethesda are like, oh, it's the future, we don't need to like worry too much about that. But yeah, as you can see, it's a very satisfying gun to use. And I will say it's a really well designed gun. Like, again, ow. Bethesda kind of like some of the guns Bethesda have made are a bit hit and miss. But the vast majority of them are really good. One thing I'm noticing is jumping heavily affects the kind of the accuracy of the weapon, which, considering it just seems to fire like a kind of like a rocket guide or a rocket assisted munition, that shouldn't really be a problem. You know, it's not like a bullet, it's pretty much like a mini rocket. If we jump up here, I know it's probably just because Bethesda has like bloom on all of their weapons, so that if you jump around and stuff. How accurate is it? Pretty accurate, okay. So yeah, this is definitely like a sort of a gun if you wanted to be, you could probably put the 2x scope on this bad boy and snipe with it. If you were to get your hands on a variant, oops, when I get your hands on like a variant that has probably extended mag on it, you could double that mag up to, what is it, by default, it's 11, 22, which would be insane. Anyway, on to the next one. Alright, so now we're on to some of the more interesting weapons. This is the arc welder. Now, interestingly, these weapons, to my knowledge, only go to modified. Now, the way I kind of get these weapons is like I spawn them in, and just because it's easier than kind of chasing them down. And usually when you spawn in a weapon in this game, when using console commands, it will give you the highest weapon you're able to get at your level. And because I'm over level 100, yeah, they should be, realistically should be advanced, but clearly they're not. Anyway, this is kind of a cool one because it's Fallout added an arc. Fallout New Vegas, I think, had like an arc welder or an arc thrower. And I, to be honest, I always loved it because it was basically like a kind of a flamethrower, and hopefully this will do the same. Now, forewarning, I have never used this weapon in my entire playthrough, so yeah. Energy damage of 19. It fires 3 kV laser rounds, 100 rounds in the mag, 76 fire rate, 26 range, 50 accuracy, 4.3. Michael, you will probably be familiar with arc welders. Wait, arc welders, are they the ones you use underwater? I know you were talking about welders recently. We were talking about stuff, but yeah. Sometimes my brain's a sieve. That's why I tend to ask a lot of questions. Anyway, let's go see the stats. I'm actually excited for this one. Because again, now, one thing to note, there is a perk that increases your damage with tool-based weapons. And I'm assuming this is a tool-based weapon because, you know, it's not meant to be. It's kind of a... So it'll be interesting to see how these kind of perform. So, okay, we're very limited here. So we've got a laser sight, which helps the target acquisition. Sure, we're going to go with that. And then it has... We have an amplifier, an overclocked, or precision tuning. So precision tuning basically increased the accuracy by 8% and the range by 3. The overclocked increases the fire rate by an extra 12%. And then the amplifier implies damage output. So the question is, when it comes to stats, do we want... Because extra... What is that? Extra 13... That's about probably an extra like 20% fire rate versus... We're going to go with energy for now just because, but I feel like the fire rate might be better. And we don't want to waste skins, sadly. Alright, so let's go see how this performs. Alright, we're nearly there. I'm actually excited to fire this. I've never fired this gun before, so... I'm assuming it's just going to be like an electrical flamethrower, which... Bethesda really needs to add more flamethrowers in the game. Come on now, I want to get my fix of burning bugs. Let's see. Oh, okay, interesting. That's pretty cool. Damage seems to be a bit on the kind of the lower end of the spectrum. Okay, so it's... There's a bit of arcing to it. Again, I'm not sure if you can get legendary variants of this gun. I feel like you probably might need legendary variants to make this gun usable. Yeah, as you can see, it's having some difficulties hitting these targets. Now, interestingly, I'm not... No, I think actually, in this... The enemies tend to drop their guns, but I think that's because I have a perk where I basically, when I hit enemies, I hit fire. So I'm going to try it on the turret, just to see how it does against electric, or kind of robotic targets. Okay, I was honestly expecting to do way more damage against the turrets, but it doesn't. So yeah, so I'm going to have to say, I kind of see why I didn't eventually pick this up. Because, yeah, it's like intuition. My intuition was like, it's a crap weapon. Now, you may like it from a roleplay point of view. Remember, I'm playing on very hard, so it's probably more usable on lower difficulties. But honestly, I don't know too much about how arc welders work. I want to say they don't have that level of range in real life. But considering it's going for the more kind of like, almost like the kind of the Tesla coil effect. Can I hurt myself? No. Because it's going for that Tesla coil effect, I think it would have been cooler if it just operated like the projectile, or the projectile worked. Projectile? Is it a projectile? Anyway, if it worked kind of similar to the Tesla pylons, where like when you shoot it, it kind of activates an arc around it. Because as you can see, it looks like it's kind of arcing, but it's not really. It doesn't arc at all. But yeah, anyway, on to the next one. Alright, so on another interesting weapon. We've got another tool weapon. This is the auto rivet gun, which yeah, it's a rivet gun. I feel like these last two weapons are like, they're just like tools like Michael kind of would tend to use in his toolbox. So Michael, if you want to confirm or deny if you make use of rivet guns underwater, you probably don't, because yeah, but anyway. But I'm honestly just going by the fact the arc welder was a bit meh. I'm kind of expecting this to be the same, although from what I've read, again, I haven't found this weapon. I haven't used this weapon. From what I've read, it just fires like a kind of a, it's like more of a single shot weapon. So damage is 1, 2, 3. It fires rivets. 10 rounds in the mag, 15 fire rate, 26 range, 69.7 accuracy, and 6.6 mass. So it looks quite cool. I will say... Rivet auto. I'm wondering, is that a battery pack at the bottom? The risk of injury, users must read construction manuals. Do not crush, disassemble short terminals or dispose of... Okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay. Now, I'm assuming this is basically going to be the railway rifle from Fallout. Oh, we've got some attachments. Nice. Okay, so laser sight. We've got no laser sight or laser sight. Laser sight on the side, which is really nice. Laser sight increases, helps target acquisition and accuracy. We're going to go with that by default. So we have standard grip or a shielded tool grip. This increases recoil, the cost of ADS. Slightly increases long range accuracy. So there's no real change to that, but obviously we're going to go with it. Magazine, we've got standard mag and we've got Teflon pylons. Like before, pylons are interesting, but honestly it should have been a perk on the other weapon, not this one. We're going to go with standard. Internal, we have a hair trigger or no mod. We're going to go with the hair trigger. Honestly, I know this isn't Fallout, but I kind of wish there was like a mod that would have like added like kind of a superheated, like add a little kind of a mini like flamethrower to the front of it, so like it increases the penetration. But yeah, let's go check it out, shall we? Okay, so I just noticed the reticle confused me because I was like, is that rivet supposed to be single fire? But I don't think this is single fire, which may have kind of my statement about it being just a reskinned railway rifle is a weird one. I will say a railway rifle would fit really cool in this game, or even like with I mean this rivet gun too. I could imagine spacers making use of it. Let's see how it performs. Is there any range to it? Okay. I'm hoping there's just a massive damage fall off. This gun isn't actually. Hello? Hello? Okay, interesting. Hi. Again, I see why I don't see anyone using this weapon. Maybe if you can get legendaries on it. It seems like Bethesda probably put these weapons in more for a roleplay point of view, and less, you know, like they're probably not very balanced, considering the fact that this and the other one tends to I feel like I'm doing something wrong because it says the damage is 123, but as you can see, the floating damage numbers, it is not 123. And also, being called an auto rivet, it's not actually automatic. If you try and hold down the trigger, nothing happens. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm a moron. You're supposed to charge it. Okay. So, if you don't charge it, it does like 24 damage. You charge it, it basically does 4 times the damage. Okay, now that I understand how this thing works, it's not... I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good, as you can see. It's definitely something I wouldn't be rocking through hard mode. I was gonna issue Michael a challenge to do a playthrough using only tools. Be like a space diver gone mad, but yeah, don't do that because you'll probably hate yourself. These tool-based weapons are not very good. And then I think the big thing for me is the fact that it's like the projectile. As you can see, like it doesn't actually fire a kind of a rivet. It just seems to fire like kind of a shotgun-y type thing. Which is weird because, like I said, they have the railway rifle. I'm just gonna really quickly shoot this at cover, see what happens. Okay, so it is a singular rivet. Okay. Oh, that actually is quite cool. Although I don't know about you, but that would hurt. So hopefully, maybe Bethesda might at some point. Yeah, the accuracy is a bit lacking. Hopefully Bethesda at some point maybe go over and overhaul this, make it a little bit better. But there's probably mods out there. I could definitely see this being useful on like if you're playing a hardcore playthrough where like ammo is quite rare. if, you know, it had a bit more damage. Anyway, on to our last weapon of the list. Alright, we are on to our last weapon, and this is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite weapons in the game. I also just noticed again, so, I don't know if it's intentional, but it is intentional. So you notice how, much like with the Negotiator, the microgun also makes use of the same kind of pistol grip, almost like the weapon, I believe it's the Urban Eagle. This is made by Allied Armaments, as you can see. Very nice. It's called a microgun, which I think I was talking to some of the guys in the Discord about. I believe a microgun and a minigun are two different things. I think a microgun, if I can remember what one of them were saying, I think a microgun basically you don't need like an external power supply or stuff. I will say I was a little bit let down. That there is no actual like backpack miniguns and stuff. That was one of my biggest kind of worries or issues with Fallout 4 was that they got rid of kind of the backpack models, which were what made the guns kind of cool, you know. But all in all, it's a really cool weapon. It just, I can't like get over like now that I'm seeing them as like pistol grips. It seems kind of janky. Anyway, so stat wise, 22 damage. It fires 7.7mm rounds, 7.77mm rounds, which we don't know the diameter. Is that the word? We don't know the other one, but potentially it could be big. I mean, we could be firing some 7 point something similar to like AK rounds, which are 7.62 by 39. We could be firing some 7.62 by 54, which, well, by Jesus, if we're firing those rounds, this is not a micro gun by any stretch of the imagination. It's got 360 rounds in the mag, 350 fire rate, 44 range, 63.2 accuracy, and 11.3 mass. Go check it out. So there is one of the few kind of legendaries in the game that are quite useful is, spoilers, you get one from completing a specific quest line to do with the Vanguard, and the one you get is really good, so yeah. I feel like if you got one of these with like an extended mag, pumping it up to like 760 would be insane. So barrel, we've got our standard barrel, our stabilizing barrel, and our long barrel. I'm going to really quickly remove that muzzle so you can kind of see it quick. So we got our standard barrel, stabilizing barrel, and long barrel. Standard barrel, you know, standard. Stabilizing, specialized mag-assisted barrel, vastly increased accuracy and recoil at the cost of ADS, and then long barrel increases accuracy and recoil. Now, just going by the fact that I don't think this gun has kick, but like realistically, you would want it to be stable. And we're not going to worry too much about range. We're going to go with stabilizing rounds, even though on paper this one is better. I just kind of look how it looks. And then laser sight, we've got laser sight and a laser sight recon sight. Recon sight marks enemies, greatly increased accuracy. Wouldn't recommend using it in the current setup. Laser sight's better because it basically does everything recon laser sight does, slightly worse. And it doesn't tag enemies you can't see. So we have a compensator or a suppressor. Suppressor vastly reduces acoustics, so basically makes it quiet. The compensator increases stability to cause long range accuracy. The one thing I will say is these are exactly the same, which I don't know if it would be possible to, you know, if it's possible to make a silencer for like a minigun type weapon, but yeah, we're gonna go with compensator because if you're using a minigun, you don't want to be quiet. Just going by the fact that we actually have a compensator that's designed to, we're going to go back and put on the long barrel. And then for grips, we have tactical grip or standard grip, tactical grip, basically lighter grip, better ADS. Gonna go with that. It should be just pistol grip, the way it looks. And then magazine, we've got a tactical magazine, we have a standard magazine, tactical magazine, same size, but just increases ADS. Small magazine is 260, increases ADS, and then armor piercing rounds, which it's a minigun. You're using armor piercing rounds. Let's be real here. I don't know. Realistically, I like the idea of having smaller mags. I don't know why you would use a smaller magazine necessarily, because obviously reload speed fair, but like I'd rather an extra rounds than reloading a little bit slower. And then internal. Oh, okay, interesting. This is new. So we've got Our high velocity, which is an internal mod that increases action and range. So as you can see, the range jumps up by 2%, or 10%, 10.4. The accuracy goes by 4%. High powered increases the damage done, so it goes up by 3, and then bullet holes, which increases the accuracy, range, fire rate, and tracer frequency. So this is basically kind of a mix between the two. I'm gonna go with bullet holes because it's a minigun. Let's be real here, folks. All right, so let's go check it out. So one little side note about this is that I'm like 90% sure because it's like vaguely remember, but if I am wrong, someone correct me. But like I said, I'm 90% sure that if you use this in 0G, you will get propelled backwards, which is really cool. Also, it looks so cool. It's a it's a micro gun, but you know, someone wants to let me know in the comments what the difference is. I'm guessing it's just it's probably down to the size of it. Miniguns generally aren't portable like squad weapons. So yeah, let's see bullet holes mode, shall we? Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This weapon is very nice. It shreds through absolutely everything. I love the sound of it. One thing I do wish, because I believe Fallout 4 did it. ADSing, it'd be cool if it would like pre-spin your barrels. But then I'm not even sure if a microgun has the same kind of mechanism as a minigun when it comes to, you know, maybe you're not supposed to charge barrels in a microgun or spin them. But all in all, this is probably up there. This is up there in probably my top 5 weapons. I just really like it. I think the only downside I will say is I wish we could have more ammo for it. I would love the option to maybe have a specific backpack kind of attachment that would maybe it could substitute your your jump pack. Ooh, don't kill me. So I'd love to have 1,000 rounds just stood there, and just imagine my character on the Ptolemy when the Terramorph attack is happening, just chipping away. Which gameplay wise I probably would have got my ass handed to me immediately because, you know, those Terramorphs are no joke. But I feel like more lore wise, this thing probably shreds. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the 6 weapons. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did. I enjoyed making it. It's nice to kind of, even though I know of all the different weapons in the game, it's nice to kind of focus on some of the more lesser known and ones I just generally don't touch. This obviously was uploaded out of order. It should have went on Monday, as that's my usual my setup for this, but it'll be out Tuesday, I believe. Next week we will be taking a look at melee weapons, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not looking forward to it. While melee weapons are kind of cool, I think you're crazy bringing a knife to a gun site, especially in a 0G environment. And then potentially we'll take a look at some of the the grenades, which again, that will be kind of an interesting one for me because I don't use grenades at all. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content and check out some of the other videos. Bye bye.